Okay, gang, so let's take a look at what I did to the 562 XP Mark II. So I took it back down, and I had ordered a Mark I piston. This is a Meteor Mark I piston. The stock piston right here doesn't have much of a wash pattern. I think that's because I've got my my transfers angled upwards a good bit, I think. But either way, that's, I don't know. I don't know what to feel besides disappointment with that. I don't know. Anywho, so this piston right here, this is the stock one for the Mark II. It has these cutouts here. The only thing these cutouts for are to shave weight. That's what they're for, right? They do nothing else. I am too afraid to cut them out of here because I'm afraid of poking through, and I'm just too afraid to do it, so I'm not going to. But I open up this side right here about 100,000ths of an inch. Did the same thing on this one. All right, open it up 100,000ths of an inch. I took a little bit of meat off where I thought it was safe and could. There was a lot of meat right here. I don't know if the stock one has that. Let me see. Yeah, but the Meteor had more meat there. But I took that out, smoothed over some edges here and there. Did some work right there. All right. Cut a pop-up in it. The stock one, the pop-up, I could only get 30,000ths because these things come with a dished piston, right? The Mark II is non-dished, it's flat top, and so I was able to get a much, 15,000ths higher pop-up. So we're looking at 45,000ths on the pop-up, and I also didn't cut as much off of the top of the piston because I wanted a tighter squish. So with this, my squish, I was running a 30,000ths pop-up, and the squish was at 25,000ths. With this, I have a 45,000ths pop-up, and I'm only running a 15,000th squish. Ooh, scary, right? Everybody likes to say that 20,000ths is as high as you should go, or as tight as you should go, I should say. Well, I've done 15,000ths before and not had any issues. Hopefully I won't with this one either. So my goal is, I'm running a 98-degree exhaust, and I'm wanting 185 pounds of compression. With the stock piston, I was getting 165 pounds of compression. Anyways, so we'll see what we can get. I will say that the stock ring on this thing is only 45,000ths of an inch thick, whereas the ring on the for the Meteor is like 56,000ths. So it's, let me measure it real quick here. Yeah, 58,000ths of an inch thick. So it's the Meteor has a thicker ring, which creates more drag. Anyways, the other thing that I did, the little Charles Briscoe trick, and I put these grooves in there. They'll hold fuel and oil to better lubricate and keep it off of the cylinder wall. Same thing on this side. That one right there is a little too fat, but doing it all by eye, really. And you stop it short. This is Charlie Briscoe's trick, if I didn't mention that. And I was like, you know what? That's worth giving a shot. That looks good to me. All right. You notice there's no gas ports in this one, right? Because the crown of the piston, I had to take a lot off of it, and I didn't feel comfortable putting gas ports in there. And so yeah, there we go. The only difference in port timing is going to be right here. Before, I was at 80 degrees on the intake. I took a little bit more off of this one, and now I'm at 81. So we're going to put this thing back together and see if it doesn't run better than it did before. I forgot to mention that this Meteor piston, after the work was done to it, it was as light as the stock piston, even without those extra cutouts, right? And then once I cut on it and did all the stuff to it, it's actually 4 grams lighter than the stock piston. And that's considerable. So hopefully this is really going to make it scoot. We'll see. And I can't forget to mention, I did this too. So these right here come out really close to the center line. I mean, basically there's barely room. There we go. There's barely room for this to fit down in there. It will, but it's snug, it's tight, right? So that's how much I took off on either side. So the point of this is, the way that these 5 series flow, they go straight across, they skip across the crankshaft, right? And pack that front. So you go in here and skip right across and pack up in there. And then as the piston goes down, it packs it the rest of the way. So the more that you can do to support this laminar flow to get it across and up in there, the better off you are. Yes, I did remove some crankcase material here, right? Which means it's more open and less, tight. But I'm banking on it's going to work and make the saw faster. And again, we will see. Well, I might have been hoping for 185 pounds of compression. I did not get it. I got more. Some see that as a really good thing. Some don't. Looks like it's probably, just guessing, about 210 pounds of compression. I don't think that's enough to slow it down. It might be to my advantage. I don't know. But we'll see how she runs and cuts. Okay, so different chain than what the Domar had, so don't go thinking that it's comparing apples to apples. This one's clearly hungrier than what the Domar has on it, but I was seeing it between 12,800 and 12,600. Pretty damn good. I wasn't seeing that before. The highest I was getting before was 12.3 in the cut. Anyways, with the same bar and chain. So with what I just did, and it's a completely fresh ring and everything, not that the other one was broken in, it wasn't, but what we're seeing is about a about a 400 to 500 RPM increase with what I just did to it. So we're making gains. Timed cut. There's knots here. I've got to get past these big knots, and there's some screws in the bottom, so this first cut won't count. Still restart issues. I got to listen to Matt, and every time I shut it off, just put it on high idle. boy, she's fast, regardless of whether or not it's the best and fastest and most powerful and blah, blah, blah. I love it. It freaking feels fantastic. It's really, really excellent job on this one. It's really good. Smoking fast. High idle. You know, it is something else to get a saw that's only 12 pounds, wait a minute, no, 13 pounds, and runs and cuts as good as a stock 80cc saw, honestly. I mean, that thing feels fantastic. Now, would it be as good as like a 500i? Probably not, that's not what I'm saying, but like a 281, with no mods done to it, I bet you this thing would spank its ass. You know, there's a lot of saws out there in the 80cc range, stock, that weigh 15, 16 pounds, and this thing would just obliterate it, I think. But that's coming from pretty good experience. My Johnson Red 2165 is capable of beating my 592 XP, so it's real, it can happen, you know, before people start slinging the hate around. Very impressed with this saw, regardless of if there's anything out there that's better or not. This thing is still extremely impressive, and very happy with it. The deuce. Okay, so what's happening? Very clearly, it was pulling 400 to 500 RPM more than what it was previously in the same wood. And I experienced this exact same phenomenon with the Makita 6100. Okay? How can it pull more RPM in the cut, but actually be the same speed or possibly even slower than it was whenever the saw was pulling less RPM? It's very easy to look at it and go, my chain just got dull. And maybe it did. Maybe that's exactly what happened. But so on the 562 video versus the FCO 6510, Jeff Seacombe, he is at Leave Nothing Stock, that is his channel, and he had mentioned your 562 might be outrunning your chain. And I know of this. I have definitely heard of this and stuff. I just didn't think that it would happen. And, you know, I thought that's for race saws, you know, and that's for saws that like Charlie Briscoe's building his little 4910 and the damn thing's turning 14,000 RPMs in the wood. Okay, so that ain't for my stuff, you know, but it might be. I mean, these chains, I believe they're purposefully designed to operate between 9 and 11,000 RPMs. That's their sweet spot. Maybe I'm just blowing past that. I think that's what it is, because I've just heard that. So don't quote me on that. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, maybe it's time to Boy, that's going to really suck if either one of these saws lose in any way ever in any competition because they're pulling too high of RPMs for a basic chain. The chain on the 562 here was sharpened by me, and it's good. I've finally gotten to a point with my hand filing that I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I can hand file a really good chain. Can I do a race chain? No, but I mean, yeah, as good or better than out of the box on almost any brand. I've hand filed a C83 Husqvarna X-Cut chain, and I think it's faster than an out-of-the-box X-Cut chain, which is saying something. I need to do a test on that. But my point is something's got to change. What am I going to do whenever it comes to actually the competition? Let's say, in the 60cc challenge, I'm running an Echo 620, and the damn thing's only pulling 12,000 RPM in the cut, and this 562 or the Makita 6100 or anything else that other people are building or sending in is pulling 13.2 in the cut, and they're getting beat by the 12,000 RPM Echo 620. That sucks. That sucks. I don't like that idea. But how am I going to get around that? They'll all be running the same chain. You know how I operate it. I don't know if I'm going to do like a brand new chain from the get-go and just use it on all 10 saws. That's because I just can't afford to buy. It'll be 20 chains because there'll be 10 saws and there'll be 2 different cuts, one for speed and one for torque. And so the speed is going to have probably a 20-inch bar on it, and it's going to be in small wood. And then for the big cuts, it's going to be, they're going to be wearing a 28-inch bar. So we got to have. I can't afford 20 chains. so they're all going to have to share the chains. So the way I figure I'll do that is the most expensive saw will go last. You get punished for being so damn expensive. And the cheapest saw gets to go first. So it'll have the fresh out of the box chain. Hey, what can I do? I mean, I can't be perfect. So anyways, I don't know what's going on with this chain getting outran, because very clearly that 562 was pulling like 400 to 600 more RPM in the cut. And maybe the wood got bigger. I haven't thought of that yet, I guess. I haven't said that. Maybe the wood got bigger, and that's why it's taking longer to get through. But I think the chain is not cutting as fast. And even if it dulled a little bit, which I'm sure, of course, every cut it dulls a little bit, I just don't feel like it's enough to have created that problem. What I feel like is happening, yes, is clearly it's outrunning the chain. Isn't that crazy? Oh well. Hope you enjoyed the video, and check you later.